Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my second trimester. I did do a video on my first trimester and kind of that whole experience and the symptoms that I went through. So if you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that out. But today is going to be all about the second trimester. This is my first pregnancy, and currently right now I am 28 weeks and 2 days pregnant. So I am officially in the third trimester, which is really exciting, and I just cannot believe that this time has gone so fast. But we are going to just recap the second trimester and go over my symptoms, my experience, things that I loved during it, things that I didn't love, and just all the information. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So starting out, just a little recap. The first trimester was really hard for me. I did have a lot of morning sickness, which lasted all day. I don't know why they call it morning sickness. But it was just a lot of nausea that I experienced. So it was really difficult for me, like first 14, 15 weeks. But then week 16 came around and it was like the light at the end of the tunnel. And a lot of people have talked about that and said that that happens. And I'm so glad that it did, because I was finally able to eat. I was feeling like myself again, which was great. So the second trimester really started out great. And I was able to eat, like I said. I still had some food aversions, that I didn't like and didn't want to eat. So one of the big things is meat. I started out in the second trimester really being grossed out by meat, specifically chicken and ground beef, or ground meat in general. So I wasn't able to eat chicken at all. No ground beef, no ground turkey, ground chicken, nothing. It just really grossed me out. So with that being said, I did a lot of vegetarian meals. We were doing, there's Rosie. We were doing HelloFresh at the time. And so I just chose meals that were more on the vegetarian side, a lot of vegetables, which was great. And I really enjoyed that. So we did that for a while. I was able to eat steak, surprisingly. That didn't bother me. So maybe once a month, I would have a steak here and there. And that was fine. But really heavy on the vegetables and the vegetarian options during, the first part of the second trimester. Even right now, meat is still kind of an issue for me. I can eat chicken if it's really thin, but I still have a tough time with it sometimes, and I'm definitely not eating ground beef still, so or meat. That's just not an option. So it is funny how your tastes do really change, and I think in the second trimester for me, those aversions and cravings really came into play, because the first trimester I just had an aversion to everything because I was so nauseous. So the second trimester, that was a big thing. I just wanted nothing to do with meat. I wanted everything to do with vegetables and fruit. Fruit has been a big thing for me, specifically cherries. I have cherries every single day. I cannot get enough of them. I love them. So fruit has been huge. Watermelon, cherries, bananas, pineapple, mango, any kind of fruit, I will eat it. And yogurt. I'm obsessed with yogurt. I have a yogurt every day. So it's funny how your body kind of craves certain things, and I think from things that I've read, it's your body's way of kind of telling you what you need, in a sense. So for a while there, I was really eating a lot of oranges. So maybe my body needed more vitamin C. I'm not sure. But it is funny how your tastes really change. I have eaten healthier during my pregnancy than I have in my whole life, and not necessarily intentionally. Yes, because I want to give the baby nutrients and, all the good things that she needs, but it's just what my body wants at the same time. So that's been really awesome about the second trimester. I would say towards the end of the second trimester, that's when the sweet cravings really kicked in. for a while, again, I wasn't eating any sweets, and I'm a big sweet person, chocolate and things like that, but I wasn't having any of that. And so towards the end of the second trimester, that's when that really kicked in. So I had one week where I was obsessing about Krispy Kreme donuts. Like, I just couldn't get it out of my head. I wanted a Krispy Kreme donut. And honestly, I can count on like one hand how many times I have had a Krispy Kreme donut in my whole life. But for some reason, it was just all that I could think about. So finally, that week, my husband and I went and got me a Krispy Kreme donut to satisfy the craving. So they definitely did kick in towards the end of that second trimester. So donuts, ice cream, I had to have ice cream one week, things like that, but never overindulging. So I think the other thing that's really cool about pregnancy is just that or for me, I feel so full so fast. So a little bit of something goes a long way, which is great because you're not really able to overeat. You eat a lot of like smaller meals, I have found. So that's been a really good benefit. But yeah, so the sweet cravings definitely kicked in, and you have to indulge them. You have to treat yourself from time to time. The other thing that was kind of hard for me to drink was coffee. I've never been like a huge coffee drinker. Occasionally, I would drink a cup of coffee. I did like iced coffee here and there, but for some reason I just like couldn't get with the taste of coffee, and it just didn't sound good to me. So I didn't really drink a lot of it. I'm just now starting to go ahead and drink it again. And again, it's really periodically and occasion. It's not all the time. I will say that I drank a ton of water all day, every day. That has been like just something that is like a saving grace. I don't drink any soda. I was drinking seltzer water for a while, but I recently stopped that, which I'll get into. But I was drinking like seltzer water. Now, when I want something different than water, maybe like with dinner or something, I will drink lemonade. Lemonade has been a big thing for me recently, but that's literally within the last like 2 weeks that started. And I tend to drink the sugar-free, the Simply Lemonade or the low sugar one. But it's really good, and it just kind of switches it up from me drinking water 24/7. But I like water. I always have, so it's not really, I don't really like I'm missing anything. And now if I taste soda, like if my husband has like a soda with dinner or something, and I have a sip of it, it is so sweet. It's like one sip and I'm just like, oh my God, like that's just like so much sugar. So, yeah, I'm not really missing anything as far as that goes, but definitely a lot of water. And that has, really been something that, I just think your body really craves and needs when you're pregnant. I hear a lot of pregnant women say that and talk about that. So that is another thing. I'm trying to think anything else that's been like a craving or an aversion. Really, that is about it for those items, I would say. Now getting into some other things that have happened during my second trimester, I had my first ever gallbladder attack during my second trimester, which apparently is really common during pregnancies, and I didn't realize that. So I had a gallbladder attack, and it was excruciating. That pain when you have a gallbladder attack, if any of you have had them before, you know what I'm talking about. The pain just like takes your breath away, and it is just so intense. You feel like you're having a heart attack. You can't breathe. It's like in your chest, in between your shoulder blades. You can't get comfortable. And it was really, really scary because I've never had one before. But I do know I have had people in my life who have had them. So when it was happening, I kind of thought, oh, maybe this is what they were talking about. And it turns out that it was. So that was really scary. But the first attack only lasted for like 45 minutes. Luckily, we were actually on our way to the hospital because my husband was freaking out, understandably, because I wasn't even able to talk That's how much it took my breath away. I couldn't even like form sentences. I like could barely breathe. So he was freaking out. I was freaking out. So then, you know, he was driving me to the hospital. And then when we got to the hospital, it kind of like subsided and it went away. Thank goodness, because I did not want to go to the hospital, especially during this whole time with quarantine and, you know, the virus, all of that. I just didn't want to go to the hospital. So I called my doctor, and then I made an appointment to go and follow up with them, which I did. They sent me for an ultrasound, which turned out that I do have gallstones. So that is why I had the gallbladder attack. Which, you know, your diet can affect that, but it also can just happen. And so after that, I started, you know, trying to eat like low fat, non-fat items. But then I would say about 2-3 weeks later, I had another gallbladder attack. And this one was the worst one. This one was like 10 times worse than the first one. It happened the Friday before Father's Day, and it was late at night. It was like 11 o'clock at night. We had gotten home from my parents, and it was just excruciating. The pain again was so intense. You feel like you're having a heart attack. You can't breathe, you can't talk. But because I had the first one, I was trying not to get overwhelmed and like have too much anxiety. I was trying to just be like, okay, it's gonna pass. The first one passed, it'll be fine. And it did not go away. Let me tell you, this attack lasted for like 7 hours. Like it was all night. I couldn't get comfortable. I couldn't lay down. I couldn't sit down. I was not like able to breathe, and like it would like fluctuate in the pain levels. It was horrible. So I called my doctor in the middle of the night again. And then they sent me to the hospital that morning at like 6-7 a.m. So I did have to go to the hospital and go to the ER, and that was just so intense and kind of like a traumatic experience in a way, because, you know, right now during this time, my husband couldn't be with me, so I was by myself. I'm pregnant. You know, it was just scary because I'm worried about the baby and like, is she okay? And my pain levels are all over the place. She has to be like in distress or something. It was just like all these things are running through your head, right? So I get to the hospital, and they do another ultrasound, confirm the gallstones that the previous ultrasound had. They do blood work, and it turns out that I had gallbladder pancreatitis. So my gallbladder was inflamed or infected, which then infected my pancreas. A gallstone could have gotten caught in the tubing to my pancreas or something. I don't know. I'm not a medical professional. But it's something along those lines, which would then cause my pancreas to be infected. So I was dealing with kind of both things at the same time. And because of that, my levels for my pancreas were so elevated. When I got to the hospital, they said that my levels were at 8,000, and a normal range is apparently around 60. So that explains all the pain that I was going through. And so they were really concerned about that. So they did end up admitting me to the hospital. And I had to stay a night on the high-risk OB floor. Again, by myself. My husband couldn't be with me. I'm scared. They wanted to monitor the baby and make sure she was okay. And there was, you know, obviously talk. If they couldn't get the infection down, I would have to have surgery to remove my gallbladder, which can be done while you're pregnant. It's not ideal because it can cause early labor, and I was only 27 weeks at the time of this, so, you know, she's so small, and it's just a really scary thought to deliver that early, and to just kind of find out all this information on your own as a first-time mom, and, you know, your hormones are crazy already, you're in pain. It was just a lot. It was a lot of information, but everyone at the hospital was truly amazing, so kind, so sensitive, all the nurses and the doctors. Like, it was just a really great experience in that way, and I'm so thankful for that. It's the same hospital that I'm going to be delivering at, which is really nice to know. But yeah, so they did admit me. I had to talk to a surgeon, a GI doctor, a neonatal doctor, and of course, like my OB was there as well. So they did talk to me about the possibilities of delivering her at 27 weeks. That was a conversation that the neonatal doctor and I had. Again, very scary. Not ideal to deliver at 27 weeks. She would be so tiny in a NICU and just not the ideal situation. So we really wanted to avoid surgery as much as possible. So again, they treated the infection, and luckily within like 24 hours, my body was responded to the antibiotics so well that my levels went from 8,000 to 230. So they did release me the next day, which was Father's Day. Actually, I was able to go home, which I was so upset because I had this whole plan for my husband on Father's Day, and he made Mother's Day really special for me. And so I was just really upset that I wasn't with him in that morning of and able to do things with him. But regardless, I did get to go home that day, which was amazing. And I had to just continue antibiotics at home for a week. So I am feeling a lot better. I haven't, knock on wood, every piece of wood possible, but I have not had another attack. I've been really, really strict with my low-fat diet. You know, they suggested like 50 grams of fat a day, and I'm way under that usually with just the items that I'm eating, and just trying to, you know, do what's best for my body and for her, and to not have to get the surgery, to not have early labor and all those things happen. I will have to have my gallbladder out after she is born. So, you know, after I recover and, you know, 6 to 8 weeks, then I'll have the gallbladder surgery to get it removed. But that's, you know, down the line, and after she's here and she's safe. And the whole time in the hospital, you know, they did monitor her, and she's fine. She was completely fine, unfazed by everything going on. And, I'm really fortunate for that she wasn't, you know, in any distress or any discomfort with the pain that I was in. And I also, too, was very reluctant being in the hospital to take any pain medication. My whole pregnancy, the only things that I have taken is my prenatals and my normal stomach medicine that was approved by my doctor that I've been on for years. But, you know, they obviously are okay with giving you pain meds in the hospital, and I just personally, I haven't even taken a Tylenol during this whole pregnancy, so I was just really scared about that. But I did take Tylenol over, you know, any like heavy narcotics that they were, you know, saying it was fine to take, which, you know, to each their own in that regard, but I just chose not to. So yeah, that was a really traumatic and unpleasant experience of my second trimester. So the first trimester was nausea, second trimester having gallbladder issues. So this third trimester that I'm in now, I pray just has no issues in that way. I know the third trimester people say is, you know, one of the most challenging ones because you just are tired all the time, which I am experiencing. I'm definitely out of breath a lot more. I don't know if you can hear me, but the breathlessness is continuing. So I am kind of prepared for those things, but if I could just get through the rest of my pregnancy, which is like 13, 12 weeks at this point, without having another gallbladder attack, that would be great. So that is my hope for the remainder of my pregnancy. But yeah, that's pretty much just like everything from the second trimester, the experiences that we had. I did feel her kick for the first time in the second trimester, and that was amazing. She actually, the first time I felt her was on Mother's Day, which was just so amazing and so special. It was kind of strange though, I will say. A lot of the times people will tell you it's like a flutter or like butterflies in your stomach. And I always remember being like, what does that even mean? Like, what does a butterfly feeling in your stomach mean? And then I started like looking it up, and other people had mentioned it feels like a muscle spasm, kind of. And that's definitely what I related to. I feel like initially those first kind of kicks and flutters feel like a muscle spasm in your stomach. So, yeah, I felt her for the first time on Mother's Day. It was so amazing. And then now, fast forward, she is just moving and grooving in there. She moves all the time. I feel her all the time, which is great. My husband felt her during the second trimester as well for the first time, which is really cool. And my little brother and sister actually just felt her the other day, which was pretty awesome. But yeah, she's moving like crazy. We just had our 28-week appointment. And so everything looks great. And so I'm just super thankful that everything turned out okay from being in the hospital and ending the second trimester on a positive, even though it was a little bit difficult at times. With that being said, I just have a couple of products and things that I was loving and still do, but the second trimester is really when I started using them the most. Obviously, water, like I mentioned before, like having a cup like this goes everywhere with me. This goes in the car with me. This is everywhere in the house with me. I never not have water. And I think I probably drink like 4 or more of these a day. Like I'm just constantly drinking water. So I definitely recommend having a cup like this. This is like the Walmart ones. I forget what the Ozark Trail brand, and I love them. I like them. I have never owned a Yeti. I don't feel the need to because this is just as good in my opinion. So yeah, so I drink water constantly. And then the other 2 products to mention are these Burt's Bees products. So this is the Burt's Bees Mama Bee. This is a belly butter with shea butter and vitamin E. So this is what I use on my belly. I've been using it for a while now, and I really, really like it. Stretch marks are genetic, and so I knew that going into it. My mom has stretch marks, so I already have stretch marks from, you know, before pregnancy, so like I know that I am prone to get them. However, they are more of like those like the skin colored stretch marks are the ones that I have. I don't have any like red or purple stretch marks. So that's kind of what I'm trying to prevent happening. But again, it is genetic, and if it happens, it happens. And I do hear that stretch marks kind of will show up in the last trimester. So now is the time that they might kind of rear their ugly heads. But, you know, again, it's just genetic. So this is just a way to kind of moisturize and help in any way that I can at preventing them if possible. But we'll see what happens. But this stuff is really great. I loved it. The smell of it is completely fine. I love shea butter, just in general. And I know they sometimes say to like stay away from like cocoa butter because of the caffeine. I don't really know too much about that, but this has the shea butter and the vitamin E, which is great. And I just got this at Walmart. You can get it like pretty much wherever Burt's Bees is sold. And then this stuff is the Burt's Bees Mama Bee Leg and Foot Cream. This has peppermint and coconut oils. So that's this. And this has been really great for your legs and feet. So my feet have just been so sore, and my legs, especially now getting closer into the 3rd trimester, you know, you can get like leg cramps and just, you know, you're on your feet. It's just a lot of pressure. So this has been really great for that. And it just like really does soothe and relax your feet and your legs. It says, instant comfort is yours with our wildly refreshing leg and foot cream infused with peppermint and coconut oils. It relaxes, soothes, and brings comfort to tired, stressed legs and feet. And it does. So this has been really great too. So these are really the only 2 products that I've been using like on my body for pregnancy. But I really do recommend them. I think that they're great. And again, they're so easy to find. You can get them at like Walmart, Target, anywhere like that. Yeah, so that's pretty much everything that I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about and fill you in on. I will be doing a 3rd trimester video when, you know, that time comes. But I'm excited. I can't believe that we only have like 12 more weeks to go, 13 more weeks to go here until she's here. I am also going to do a nursery tour at some point. With everything going on, being home so much, we were able to pretty much finish the nursery before my second trimester. So that's been great. So I will do that as well. Still working on like a little things here and there for it and getting like just the finishing details and all of that fun stuff in there. But I will do that. And I'm going to try to start vlogging a little bit more now that, you know, where we live in New Jersey, some of the things have let up a little bit with the quarantine and, you know, we're pretty much still staying in and safe. We're just, you know, really seeing family and some close friends. But, yeah, so I will start kind of vlogging and doing all of that to kind of capture the last weeks of pregnancy, which is so exciting. I can't wait till she's here. But yeah, that's it. So thanks you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.